Welcome to the Exciting Insurance Show, episode number 4. I actually got that right. It's always a tongue twister for me. But today we are going to be talking about cyber insurance with Al here.
Thanks for the lead up and the letting me know that we're going to be talking about cyber insurance.
You're welcome. Yeah, I even made some notes here.
I never know what we're going to talk about until Sean, tells me a minute before this. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we get your unadulterated, unfiltered thoughts. So you always like to, when it comes to cyber insurance, we're not going to do the typical, you need cyber for X, Y, and Z. You like to paint this picture of the man in the cave, for example. You've told this story to me because ransomware account for 41% of cyber claims, which is the most of any other cyber attack. So could you just paint that picture for us?
Sure. So that's good. The man in the cave.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
And it was I think it was described to me by a member of the FBI. It was at it was a traveler's training some years back. And what the man in the cave means is that there literally could be a guy in a cave in Iraq or China or Russia or somewhere far away from here.
Yeah.
That's his job or her job in life is to steal your information and basically sell it back to you. And that's essentially what ransom, holding a client for ransom is. So there are some challenges with if somebody we're in Shelton, Connecticut. And if somebody came into our parking lot and you notice that your car is being stolen, you're going to call the police, and hopefully the police are going to go track them down and get your vehicle back for you. When the man in the cave steals your information, we don't have a police force in one of these foreign countries that's going to go out and stop this from happening. So your best bet is to do two things. Number one, proactively make sure that you have some type of firewall system so that the doors and to your castle are not left wide open. That's number one. So proactively make sure that you've set up yourself to be not so much of an easy target. And then number two, have insurance in the event that something like this happens, because when you have a cyber insurance policy, what happens is that insurance company wants to eliminate and end the threat as soon as possible, because it's going to cost them a heck of a lot less money to do so. They know they're on the hook for a claim, but you now have kind of a SWAT team dealing with this claim and trying to get this bad actor out of your computer and out of your files and out of your system for life. So the insurance part isn't as expensive as people might think it is, but it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay, so you touched on two things there that I want to cover.
Yeah.
Number one, you always bring up the lock your car door example. You wouldn't leave your car unlocked in the street for someone to, break into it.
Right.
You always lock your door. That's the same thing with if you don't have a firewall.
Well, if I weren't an insurance guy, I probably would. So, but we see so many claims. And, I live in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and in a really nice town. And
I'm so fancy. You already know.
And it seems like there's a report definitely weekly, if not nightly, that somebody had their car stolen out of their driveway.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's because the car door was unlocked. And then there's a good percentage of that where they leave the keys in the car. So don't make it easy for these criminals to take your car, or in this case, we're talking about cyber, your information and your data.
Yeah. And the other thing you said, as far as like getting the insurance, sometimes the carrier will make you do steps in order to acquire that insurance, and that's setting up your protections. So just through trying to apply for the insurance, you're protecting yourself.
That's right. And so a first-time cyber insurance buyer, let's say I'm at a doctor's office or an architect or an insurance agency or wherever it is, if they don't have cyber, I pull out a supplemental application that is full of questions that it's such a painful process. You'd rather go to a doctor and get a full physical exam than go through this process. But like I tell everybody, get through the pain, answer the questions truthfully about your firewall protection and your current situation with your staff, and answer those questions truthfully. Um, and and sometimes what's going to happen is, and again, the application has the answers to the test. So if you can eventually answer yes and affirmative to all those questions that they have on the cyber policy, then that carrier will probably approve you for coverage. But if you can't honestly answer the questions that they're looking for, so that and a carrier feels that you're not really protected, they might not extend coverage to you. So it's painful to go through that in the beginning, but once you have a cyber policy in place, it's a heck of a lot less painful going forward.
Yes. And speak to me about like small businesses, because small businesses or businesses 25 million and under in revenue are responsible for 56% of all cyber claims.
Yeah.
So you always bring up the doctor's office example. Like every time we talk, it's like, yeah, they're going to target a small doctor's office because that makes more sense for them.
Right, and the doctor has people's health information. They can put that on the, they put people's information up for sale, and so that's an easy target. And there's a lot of money exchanging hands. Attorneys are a prime target. Real estate attorneys have wire transfers happening, and to the tune of millions of dollars. And so there, but the misconception is that these hackers are only going after Fortune 500 companies or municipalities. Those are just the ones that you read about in the news because it's a big deal impacting so many people. But you're not going to read about the 10 employee professional services office that got hacked and was held for ransom for $280,000, and they didn't have insurance, and they're on the hook for $280,000, and they're not even sure once they pay that. And the FBI will tell you, just pay it.
I'm not going to help you. No.
Yeah.
There's no other way to do it. Again, if you've got insurance, the chances are, it's going to be covered, and the chances are it's going to be covered to the extent where you're really not coming out of pocket. Please don't take that as gospel. It really depends on the situation, but for the most part, the insurance is going to deal with that ransomware claim amount. And so point is you don't have to be a big company to be targeted. In fact, the smaller companies are easy targets.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the stat, but it's something like, after an attack, 60% of small businesses go out of business in the first year. Because again, a small business, let's say you get $2 million in revenue and you get hit for $150,000, $200,000. Well, it's cash out the door. It's not, and you're not getting it back.
Yeah.
Again, without insurance, it's just very difficult.
So, yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. So there's different like claims out there, or different stats, but a claim is anywhere between 26,000 to 100,000 for a cyber insurance claim.
Yeah.
And for ransomware attacks, that's even higher.
Right.
So these businesses, if you have 3 million in revenue, do they really have 250K liquid that they could just pay? Most companies don't.
Right, and in most companies, yes, and most companies that I know that are in that revenue area where they're struggling to not to meet payroll necessarily, but giving an employee, a key employee, a big raise, or again 10, 20 employees, they might be debating whether or not they want to give benefits or incentivize their employees. A $100,000, $200,000 hit is crushing.
Everybody's crushing me.
I mean, it's absolutely crushing to a business like that. So I just say, it's hopefully it never happens to you as the business owner. But here's the biggest point I'll make, and I'll leave you with, is what's more likely to happen to your business, whether you're a contractor, you're a again, professional services business, something in the white collar. What's more likely to happen? A fire destroying your business, or being hacked and held for ransom? And so, and I know the stats, and we know the stats, but if I asked you that question 15 years ago, the answer would have been fire, you know. But today, criminals do this for a living. They go home at night. They have a family. They're proud of what they do, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and this is what they do for a living. And they don't really. There's no emotion in it to them. They don't care that you're destroying your life potentially. This is what they do. So you just have to prepare yourself for it and protect yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I got a text this morning from the DMV saying my registration was out or whatever. So I know that's more of a personal thing, but it's everywhere.
But it was a phishing email.
Oh yeah,
or something
100%.
yeah.
It was from like abz1257@email.com.
Yeah, and
Like,
last week I had to call all of our staff, including you. An email came out from my exact email with a PDF saying "Open your bonus," and I did not send out a bonus last week. Um, and so, you know, the other thing you can do to prevent some of this stuff is if you've got staff, you tell your staff, if you're going to get a bonus, I'm going to communicate that with you, and I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you in person when that's coming. There are no surprises. We can't live that way. And if you have any questions as a staff member, pick up the phone and call me. But do not respond to these phishing emails.
so
And that's the cause of a lot of this stuff.
yeah, and it's funny. I literally just remembered this as you were talking. So it happened with my girlfriend like this past Saturday. She works at a school, so a municipality, and she got an email from the exact email of her payroll lady. And she clicked into it because she checked the email, and it wasn't like a weird like abz7@outlookie.com. Like it was the actual Watertown Public Schools, and she clicked it, and she wasn't the only one. So now their IT department sent out a mass email saying, "Hey, if you click this email, let me know." And like she was proactive about it, but they still got her.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, these criminals are getting more crafty,
Yeah.
and it's a shame, but it's how we have to do everything that we can to protect ourselves. And again, I mean, just I'm a bottom line guy, and for me, it's just do everything I possibly can proactively, so that my information isn't out there in the public. And then secondly, just back it up with insurance. And again, like a small business, it might be, it could be $1,000, could be a few $1,000s for a small business, but it's not outrageous. A lot of insurance, like commercial auto, the prices have gone through the roof. Property, it's crazy. If you home and auto, the rates have gone up for 3 straight years now into double digits.
Yeah.
But cyber, although there are a lot of claims, cyber is not out of control. So it's actually more affordable than people think. It's just in the grand scheme of things, it's only about 12 to 15 years old. So people aren't familiar with it like they are car insurance that we've had forever. But I'm just telling you, any business owner out there, if you've worked hard to build a business, and all it takes is a second for it to everything to be taken away, and it's just. So I just think the insurance isn't the end all be all, but it will certainly help.
All right. Well, thank you for the time today.
Thanks for stopping in, Sean.
Thank you guys for watching the video. If you stayed this far, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel. If you want to see more of me and Al, also comment your favorite cameo. And that's all. WRBG out.
Let's go.